Good morning, everybody. Mike Peters with the Pottsville Church of Christ, and it's time for our morning devotional. So let's get our Bibles out, and we're going to continue our study in the Sermon on the Mount by looking at Matthew chapter 6. This morning, I want us to look at verses 19 through 21. Matthew 6, 19 through 21. Here's what we find. Jesus is speaking. Again, we're in the middle of the Sermon on the Mount, and he says in verse 19, "Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." How many times have you heard people say, and you know what? We may be guilty of saying the same thing. I know I've thought it before, and you may have as well. And if you're like me, you probably have. Oh, life would be so much easier if I just had a little bit more money in the bank. Or you know what? If I had that bigger house, my life would be so much better. Or, I wouldn't be so ashamed of myself if I had a nicer car to ride around in, or maybe, that 401k, if it just would just grow and grow and grow, if I just had more, that's going to make me happy. Oh, I wouldn't have anything to worry about then. You ever thought like that? That's a very common mindset, especially in our culture, because our culture is extremely materialistic. If you don't believe that, turn on your TV. Turn on your TV, look at the commercials. They're always trying to sell you something. You want happiness? Drink this soda. If you want happiness, go eat at this restaurant. If you want happiness, drive this kind of car. It's pushed on us. Open up magazines and there's ad after ad after ad. Go on the internet and there's ad after ad. Go on Facebook and social media and they inundate you with ads. Pushing us to go and chase the dollar so we can buy more, because it's material things that are going to make us happy. Here's what Jesus says about material things. You put it into our language, they're not going to last. They're not going to last. You want more money in the bank? Well, guess what? An emergency is going to come about and that money is going to get spent. It's going to happen. You want a bigger house? Ever drive down some roads and you look over and there's a big, beautiful house, and yet now it's falling apart, sitting there empty, overgrown with a yard full of weeds? Houses degrade over time. Oh, but if I just had that nicer car. Ever go through a junkyard and see how many cars are in a junkyard full of rust? Blown out tires. It was beautiful at one time. At one time, it came right off that conveyor belt. The point Jesus is making is nothing physical lasts forever. All of our material blessings, they're simply temporary. And because they're temporary, the happiness that they bring is just momentary. But there's something available to us that will last through eternity. Our physical lives won't, but our spiritual self will. And Jesus is reminding us of that. Don't focus on gathering all the material things that aren't going to last. Focus on the eternal things, the treasure that will last forever. Focus on the spiritual things. And he sums it up with that statement, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." You know what he's saying there? If material things are your focus, that's all you're going to focus on. But if you're focused on the spiritual things, if you're focused on eternity, that's where your heart's going to be. That's going to be your focus in life. And that, a life being lived for God, directed by God through his word, that's a life of fulfillment. And that's an eternity of riches. This is Mike Peters with the Pottsville Church of Christ in Hickory, Kentucky. I hope you're finding that these morning devotionals are a blessing to your day. I hope they're putting a positive start to your day. If you like this video and want to see more videos like this, subscribe to our channel here, hit that bell notification. and it will let you know when a new video comes online. If you're watching on Facebook, like this video and share the video on your page, and that way we can get the message of Jesus out to as many people as possible. I hope everyone is staying safe out there. Don't forget, always be praying.